Welcome to The Gaggle, where we talk politics in Arizona and beyond. This week, teachers are protesting, and we're trying to figure out what Mayor Stanton is up to. But first, it sounds like there's a budget afoot at the state capitol. Mary Jo Pitzel, don't look at Yvonne Winja. What's going on?
Well,
I mean, as we speak, there are people
as we speak, they are waiting breathlessly for their leaders to let them know when they're going to have a budget bill. And those might actually materialize.
Is it that kind of process? Daddy knows best. This comes out like, here it is, kids, go vote for it.
Not this year. Not this year. Daddy, at least Daddy in the house is listening to the children, and it's kids from the kids on up. So they're just trying to nail down the last couple of details on this $9.6 billion budget.
What are those details, Yvonne?
Well, they're trying to whip up enough votes to pass the university funding package, which is not completely a home run, as Ducey thinks it is, with
this would
his
let
own
them
party.
collect their own sales tax and keep it and basically repay bonds with it so they could buy a big fancy building and use the sales tax.
Research and development, etc. That was the governor's original plan. Now it looks like it's going to be more of a straight appropriation from the general fund. And they are still hoping that they will reach $1 billion in bonding or above over the next 25 years or so. They will all consider this a win if they can get it, especially if they can pick up enough Democrats to call it a bipartisan bill, unlike the one lone Democrat they picked up back in 2015 with Carlyle Begay. So that's a big sticking point. Results-based funding was also a big a bit controversial with Democrats. They, say it favors wealthy districts over low-income districts. I think that you'll see some changes there. And the other big thing was TANF.
That's cash assistance for low-income families that are raising kids. And the governor has one vision. Conservative Republicans have another, and the Democrats have yet another. So they've got to resolve what to do. But the intent is to try to go back to at least a 2-year program. It was cut to 1 year.
Cut to 1 year last year.
Yeah.
So tied in with this sort of is some controversy about teacher pay raises, and apparently there's going to be a protest. We're recording this on Tuesday afternoon, just in a few hours or so.
Yes, I will be going out to the boat parade that Arizona's teachers are.
A boat parade? So why ever would it be a boat parade?
In a desert. Haven't you seen the naval monument out in Wesley Bullen? Because the whole issue of part-time jobs came up during a discussion that sort of devolved into complaining about teacher pay. And Majority Leader John Allen stood up and said, wait a minute, having a part-time job, that's not necessarily a bad thing, and you're not necessarily borderline poverty. People are saving money, with a part-time job, to do better things, like maybe to buy a boat. Well, that didn't go over well with teachers. So they will be showing up, or washing ashore with various forms of navigation craft, making a little parade, and then taking them up to the governor's office and asking to trade them in for a pay raise.
All right, sounds good. So Mayor Stanton gave his State of the City address last week and sort of stirred the pot, a little critical of some of the governor's policies, causing some chin stroking, people saying, what's he up to?
Yeah.
What is he up to?
It's really hard to say. I mean, he gave a State of the City that was very unusual. It wasn't talking about what he's going to do in the next year. There weren't like a lot of new goals. It was very much a kind of putting a bow on his 5-year tenure and then taking some shots at the state on education. And it left a lot of people wondering, what is he doing next? He has a committee to run for Secretary of State. But his comments about education left many people wondering, is he looking at the governor's seat, superintendent of schools? There's also speculation that he might run for Congress if Sinema jumps in to run against Flake.
Any
a lot of speculation.
Seem like the leading one at this point?
I think the thinking in City Hall seems to be that he's leaning more towards the Secretary of State position because people see Michelle Reagan as being potentially vulnerable given some of the missteps in her office. But there's kind of just a lot of wide open speculation at this point.
Meanwhile, he's hanging out there like the scorpion on the pool deck. Right? So what are you watching for this week, Yvonne?
Tiny dive.
Sine die, okay. You say that every week. Dustin, anything you're keeping an eye on?
Phoenix City budget. There's the city manager's going to come out with his next budget this week, and there might be some tough hits with pension costs and tax revenues.
Mary Jo.
I'm looking for the big surprise. There'll be one that'll come out when we get all the budget details.
Well, that's it for The Gaggle. Thanks for joining us, and come back next week.